Patriots get the ball out of Teddy Allen's hands as quick as you can.
Dusha trying to penetrate down the baseline, can't get it. Copeland looking to attack. Again, Buckets just took a gamble there on defense.
Found himself underneath the basket looking for option. The box inbound play, let's see what that looks like. Levi gets it up top to Atwood, he's going to set the screen for the inbounder Dusha. Copeland fades to the corner but ends up cutting towards the baseline. Dusha caught in a trap here, finds Wiley somehow, and Wiley will finish with two to stop the bleeding.
Nice play.
Two guys with a ton of experience, ton of intelligence. You know, you sprinkle in some talent, you sprinkle in Lloyd Gardner at the helm, and that's a good basketball team there. And unfortunately, you know, they ran into us, and at that time, unfortunately.
Dusha does well to get that up, and oh my goodness, it
goes! My first season in the BBL, I don't remember, I don't remember in a lot of deal. We was a very young team, I remember that for sure. A lot of losses, a lot of lessons learned, not losses we'll call them. A lot of lessons learned, but it was good, it was challenging. I think I was really young, I was 18, so I was quite oblivious to the basketball world, essentially. It was my first year professional and the captain as well, so it was obviously the role of a captain. I understand a lot more now than I did back then. So I'm sure I could have done a lot better. But it was great, it was experience-wise, I don't think you could have got, myself personally, I don't think I was in a better situation then. I know the losing took a big toll, but in terms of experience, I played probably 35 minutes a game, started every game, and I had like a bit of a freedom as well to play, which I think kind of helped me, you know, become where I am now. And it was, I had a lot of friends, school friends, a lot of guys who I went to school with, guys who I spent the day with, guys who were friends not just in basketball. So it was actually quite nice to be on the same team with one of my closest friends, Corey, and also live in the house with him and also go to school together, and then just everything was through together. So I think it was, I was quite fortunate to be in the position I was as well. Of course, I'd worked hard for it, but it was just how things were kind of set was great. But at the end of the day, it was a difficult season, to say the least. It was a learning experience, but we always knew we never went in there trying to win a league in our first year. So we kind of just, yeah, but it was fun though. We still kind of reminisce and talk about it when we get together sometimes. We'll still be like, about how I was always had the longest rope on the team. I could get away with everything, whereas everyone else wouldn't, and la-di-da. But it was good though. It was nice. I still remember like flashbacks of a lot of them. I was quite young, so to me, I was the captain at my school's team, I was the captain on my college team, I was the captain of my university team. I've always kind of had that responsibility, but never at a professional level. And yeah, even when Jack told me, but to be honest with you, it's a bit of a long story, but I'm going to do it as quick as I can. Sure. My first trial was for actually Newcastle Eagles, so Fab Flanoid had given me a call and said, come up for, I think it was a week, 2 weeks. So he'd invited me up for a workout. I'd actually gone, stayed up for a week. It was sick. It was so professional. I'd never seen anything so professional. And then Jay Marriott had also contacted me to come to Plymouth to do it. So they were like the two BBL teams I was going to be a university athlete for. And then I was on holiday and Jack calls me, who was the coach of Surrey United. And he calls me, he's like, oh yeah, a Polish guy, lovely person. He's like, oh buddy, yeah, congratulations, you're playing with us next year. And I'm like, oh yeah, but I've kind of told Newcastle I'm going up to Newcastle. And he was like, no, whatever. He was like, yeah, you're coming to me, you're going to be the captain, and yeah, you're going to learn a lot. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be the experience you need. Obviously, Jack was my coach 5 years prior to that. So I naturally had that gravitation of trusting him, and I've always been a kind of a right-hand man to a coach sort of thing. And yeah, that's what ended up happening. So I had obviously let Fab know, let Jay know, and then yeah, ended up just pre-season going in, meeting the guys, being the captain of whatnot, and then just kind of going from there. And I remember we played Newcastle. Fab come in, didn't even say a word. Fab just walked in, keep it moving. But that was it. But it was good though. It was all right. It was a good experience. I never got to watch Nigel play. Obviously, I heard a lot about him. PJ tells us quite a bit about some of the guys he's grown up playing against, Vince and Nigel and Ronnie, or all of them guys. But never. I heard Nigel was a hooper though. I heard Nigel could play. I heard he was very good at in his time. I'd love to have videos from back then. You know how you got the old school yeah, find me some. You know how you got the old school videos and you got new school, so we can compare them a little bit and see who could do well today. Saunders rings a name, but I don't think I'd know who it would be.
Same generation. Obviously Nigel Lloyd went across more years.
Saunders.
But Ross Saunders, he's
Legit.
Yeah, one of the best ever.
Yeah, but you would know all of these because you've been around forever. So. I've heard TJ. Who did he play for?
Probably just before you would have gone. He played with Fab at Eagles.
Oh really?
Yeah, one of their top guys.
No, I don't think I'd remember him. Legend. I love Ronnie. Ronnie, I used to see Ronnie when I played at London United. So in obviously London, back in London in the little Division 2s and whatnot. And Ronnie was just a legend. He moved completely different now, which of course is normal, but it was just his ability to shoot the three still, and just he's good. And he always, I got a lot of time for him just because of how he was with me personally. Like I was quite hot-headed when I was young, even now, but a lot more when I was young. And Ronnie would always kind of just, it's not worth it, young guy. And he would always sort of speak. And after the games, he would sit after the game and speak for like 20, 30, 40 minutes. And to me, having Ronnie Baker, who's what's the video game that he's in as well? NBA Live, right? Yeah, NBA, and he's on a video game. So obviously when I'm young, I'm sat there thinking, hold on, Ronnie Baker's on actual NBA Live, and like he's talking to me, he's giving me advice, he's everything. Yeah, he is, honestly. But Ronnie's a cool dude though. I mean, you know better than I do, but Ronnie's a legend. I got a lot of time for Ronnie. Even being in the same top 10 as Ronnie's even when I look at the list and you say, let's have a look, as soon as I see Ronnie, I feel a lot more like, okay, well, it's cool. Even being in a conversation with Ronnie's game changer. So yeah. I'm not going to lie, my ultimate goal is to be number one, but even being in top 10 is so like, who was I saying this to the other day? I think I was saying it to Jules. I was telling him how like, it just feels like it's finally, I'm finally getting some recognition for my style of play, if that makes sense. So I'm finally getting some recognition, and after 11 years of, all right, I'm not a scorer, I'm not athletic, we all know that, but my ability to control an offense and find the right person within the offense for the best shot, do you get what I'm saying? So it's quite refreshing to have that, and also it's not just like, all right, you're a team player, you pass the ball. It's something that I can proudly say that I've kind of wanted to do throughout my entire career, sort of thing. And I actually prefer passing the ball than scoring the ball, if you get what I'm saying. It takes two people to pass and score instead of it takes one person to just score, do you get what I'm saying? So, but yeah, there's loads of reasons. I could give you a million reasons why I like to pass the ball. One of them is I can't score the ball. That's the number one. No, I can, but where it is, I've also felt like if I'm, as a point guard, if I'm bringing the ball down the floor and I'm out of 24 seconds, I've got the ball in my hand for at least 11 of them seconds, 12 of them seconds. The worst thing I can do, which is also, it's very contradicting, but the worst thing I can do sometimes is hold it for 12, 13 seconds and then go and take the shot as well at the end of the possession. And so what are the other 4 doing? But then there's obviously times where the ball would have moved, it would have swung, it would have come back to me for the shot to shoot. And then my overthinking himself was a bit, oh yeah, go find another pass or something. So it's got its pros and its cons, but yeah, I've always been a team player. I prefer it like that. You enjoy the game more like that, in my opinion. I watched a lot of Rajon Rondo when I was young, growing up. He still is. He just retired as well. So yeah, but he was one of my biggest ones. Looking at Ricky Rubio when he was the 16, 17, 18-year-old phase of playing at Barcelona, I used to watch a lot, and a lot of it to do was also I watched a lot of European basketball instead of NBA basketball growing up. So I always kind of grew up with the mindset of a dribble, penetrate, kick, hockey pass to the corner, catch and shoot. If you get what I'm saying, instead of like all right, I'm going to break this guy down, get to my spot, pull up jump shot, and then yeah, if it goes in, it goes in, sort of thing. But there's loads of players. Allen Iverson, with his mentality, he's always been one of my guys. Just his only the strong survive mentality has always been like a thing of mine. Obviously, I'm not the tallest, I'm not the biggest, la-di-da, but either way, I'm never going to back down, regardless who you are. So yeah. My dedication, to be honest, I think a lot of it will come from, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of it comes from how I was raised and how what my parents did for us when we was young. You know, obviously we were asylum seekers or immigrants or whatever the correct terminology is now, for a very long part of our life in the UK, if I'm being honest. And my dad, till this day, both my parents still have the hard work mentality, is to get up early and work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Christmas Day, my dad's forced to take the day off because it's a national holiday pretty much. So he's always kind of had that mentality. I kind of always watched him leave early, come back late, but at the same time, while he's doing that, he's kind of still controlling everything that's going on, making sure we're okay, making sure food's on the table and everything. And I think seeing the struggles that we went through, do you get what I'm saying? Being an immigrant, growing up in London, especially in that, I'll rephrase it, being a Muslim immigrant, growing up in London was back then anyway, not now, but back then it was it was challenging, but you don't really see it as a challenge. You just thought it was a normal day thing because it was just the norm. And yeah, like it's just been having them kind of, well, they heard it was all around you and whatnot, but seeing the fact we're immigrants, my parents picked us up and took us to a whole other country to get away from a civil war, from truthfully being homeless and living in 4 families in one house, crammed in one house, to we own 2 properties that are under our names now. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, I know this was bound to happen, but to me, it's that you don't need any more motivation than that. We went from homeless, not having any money, we'd share meals, regardless how embarrassing it sounds, we'd borrow clothes from charity centres, we eat at, obviously I'm Muslim, but my neighbours were heavy Christians, but they taught us everything. It was an American family, taught us everything, how to speak, how to live, how to manoeuvre around life, where the council office is, how to get to school, how a system works, everything. To a point where obviously they knew we wasn't really fortunate. We would go to church with them, especially us kids when we were young. We would go to church with them, and obviously we're Muslim, but we're still respectful to every religion around us. But we would go there because they would want to show us more. They'd want to introduce us to more people. They'd want us to have a life, essentially. And it was a game. Like, I still remember they taught me how to ride a bike. Not my dad. They taught me how to ride a bike. They showed my mum how to go to the Home Office to apply for citizenship or to remain to stay or whatever it was back then. And it was just like, you don't realize certain stuff that happened around you that you're kind of like even now, for example. So I say to people, if I didn't play basketball, I wouldn't have a clue what I'd be doing, if you get what I'm saying. So the second I fell in love with basketball and the second I realized it was the same mentality my parents put into life, same mentality you kind of put into something you enjoy, and it's paid off for me, if I'm being honest. And I've always been, a lot of the coaches I've played for, especially early in my career, would vouch that I was always a workhorse. I wouldn't leave the gym sometimes. When I played in Surrey for Surrey United, I remember Creon would tell me multiple times, just go home and rest, kid. And I tell him, oh, it's 3 o'clock, got another 8 hours, 9 hours left of the day, like, what are you talking about? But it was always like, it's always just come from, a lot of it would do with what we've gone through. So obviously even growing up in school, when we did learn to speak a bit of English, and me and my brothers would go to school together, and obviously, you know, school in London is very diverse. You've got people who, you got bullies, you got arseholes, sorry for my language, you got everything. Do you get what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You kind of, we've always had that, it's just us mentality sort of thing. Them, it's just us. Sorry. But, okay, cool. But it's like, you get what I'm saying. So it's very like, we've kind of always had that mentality, but where we have it with everything. So even when we work hard, it's like, even if you have a bad week of practice, or even a bad month, a bad game, whatever, it's like a next one sort of thing. We'll get back in the gym and sort it out. But that, I feel like that mentality, I was grateful to get it when I was young, because it also kept me out of a lot of trouble as well. I was also very fortunate to spend after school in the sports hall, before school's in the sports hall, lunchtime in the sports hall, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I'm either traveling to a game, or I'm playing a game, or I'm traveling back from a game. So I got to miss a lot of the distractions around me, which helped a lot. And then it's just opened up doors. But that mentality of hard work, like even now when I coach, I say to a lot of the children, I say, you will be so surprised what you're capable of if you applied yourself. Like if you really wanted, some of the kids say, oh, by the time I'm 18, I want to play on the Division 3 team, some of the development kids. And I always tell them, stop measuring your ability on your age. You could probably be, they're 14, 15, they could be good enough to play when they're 16, 17. But it's what you do in that 2-year span. Do you get what I'm saying? Of course, don't go in there every day and kill yourself and murder it, but give yourself a plan, stick to it, and follow it. You're disciplined enough to follow your own plan, you'll be disciplined enough to follow anybody else's plan. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, hard work is in everything in life, not just sports. You work hard in your office job, you work hard in your whatever job it is, you work hard on your construction site, work hard in anything, even if it's a stay home and work job. You apply yourself at it, watch the positive repercussions that come back. I think this is my 7th year, or maybe 8th year, because we've been through a handful of coaches. But yeah, I think it's either 7 or 8 years with the national team, yeah. I absolutely love it. I think any chance, any sport, any level, anything, any chance you get to represent your country, take it. Any chance you get to wear your country of your birthplace on your chest rather than a club, do it. It's the fact that we left Albania as immigrants and became citizens in the UK, and now I'm able to actually go and represent Albania and still feel like I'm more Albanian than ever is massive to me. But even not just that, even the basketball side of it is you're playing against some of the best players in their country, 12 of the best players in their respected countries, in one of the best competitions in the world, whether it's the Eurobasket, the qualifiers, the pre-qualifiers, the World Cup, whatever it may be. It's whoever you play against. Like, for example, the most recent game we played against Armenia, Chris Jones, who plays in the EuroLeague. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you're just sat there and you're kind of like, and also me, I'll always measure myself. So I'll always be, okay, well, that's a EuroLeague player. I play in the BBL. Let me give it what I got, and hopefully he returns what he can, and then just measure yourself at. But the national team has always been you ask anyone who represents their national team will always be, it's more than an honor to represent your national team. Like, to a point where a lot of guys, I would represent Albania without even needing funding. You can tell me, just come and play, and we'll just do the normal, you know, put you in the hotel and do the food, the transport, provide whatever, no bursaries, anything. And it's just, it's worth it. And that's coming from Albania, where we're ranked possibly out of 103 countries that represent in all FIBA competitions. I think we're probably ranked, last time I ever checked, we was like 83rd or something. So that's coming from me, like, and obviously you can see when you go to other countries just how passionate it is for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Every arena you go to is sold out because it's a national game. You're playing against guys who, hold on a minute, I'm representing my country. So the same way you're trying to put them on your back, I'm trying to put them on my back, sort of thing. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's an honor, it's always been an honor. And if anyone ever gets a chance to represent their country, do it, believe me.
Has it improved you as a player as well?
Big time. I feel like it's weird though. Like I'm such a bipolar player in my opinion. Where in the BBL I love to distribute and play and get the guys going and let the imports get to work and help them do what they want to do and get to where they want to get to. But when I go to Albania, tables have turned. I'm the import player essentially. We don't have many outsiders, so like it'll be me and one other guy, and they'll all look to us, and it'll be, I don't know, every out of 6 possessions, 4 of them would be ran through me and him. Which is new to me, but don't get me wrong, like in mid-season, you're going from being a pass-first point guard to, all right, well, you've got a 3-week break, go to Albania, and now you're like scoring. And I enjoyed it. And to be honest with you, it's easy. I hope no one grills me for it. It's easier to score in them European games because the big men are real big men. They're hedging out hard, they're kind of slow in the legs, like they like to call it in Europe. You can break them down a lot easier, get to the rim. Obviously, they're all much more talented and great individual players, but yeah, I've always played better for Albania, like offensively, than I have for my own club most of the times, so it's quite worrying. What was he, a guard?
Top player, yeah, very good player.
Really? Who are you picking on your team, him or Ramon Fletcher? I know you're a Fletcher fan, that's why I said it.
Fletcher got more MVPs.
Fletch?
Yeah.
I'd pick Fletch, even though I don't know Rob. I'd pick Fletch as
well. Let's say Fletch then. What do you want to say about Ramon Fletcher? Because you're not far behind him.
No. I mean, I learned a lot from Fletch, if I'm being honest with you, and I think he might be one of the best left-handed dudes who's blessed this league, in my opinion. I think Ramon Fletcher's his ability to be forced right. I'm talking, we would sit on his left shoulder so he couldn't even dare dribble on his left hand. He would still find a way to get to that left hand and finish. And it was good. But I think I loved him when he was at Newcastle. There wasn't a game that I watch every game anyway, but there wasn't a game that I wouldn't go back and watch if I missed, if it had Ramon playing, especially with the group they had as well. I think the squad that they had not in his last year, but in his first 2 years, because he was there for what, 3 years, right? Went away for a year and then came back again. So his first stretch, breathtaking, phenomenal. He would finish games and 20 points, 13 assists, a few rebounds here, but just dominate the whole game. And then you'd look, and then like obviously he's not the tallest of players, he's tiny, so it's, you kind of put that, and then you think, yeah, well, this guy's a dog, this guy's got a mentality of a beast sort of thing. Do you get it? I got a lot of time for Fletch. He's coaching now as well. You can tell he's going to be a great coach. He's going to be a good coach. KB was the assistant coach when I played for England. KB, Carl Brown was him and what's his name? I can't believe I forgot his name. England coach when I was there. Carl Brown, they're best friends. Steve Bucknell.
Oh, Buck.
There you go. Yeah, so Bucknell was the head coach.
Buck's a legend.
Yeah, he is. He's legit. And Steve was the assistant. Steve was good. He's tough. Steve's very tough. Like, he's a tough lover, from what I remember. It's been a long time since we've crossed paths, but he was a very tough lover and wasn't afraid to tell you what he thinks. I think that's what I like about him. He's a very honest person. I think it's the impact. Like a lot for me, a lot of my mindset's changed these last few years. I think a lot of it's to do because I'm a little bit more older. I want to use the word mature, but I know Paul's going to disagree. But a little bit more mature. I think just the impact you have on people. I think obviously, like on court now. I think I've realised my influence on court. I think, and also when I say influence, I don't mean by gameplay. I mean a lot more by attitude. So if I'm kind of gone in there and I'm a bit rowdy and I'm a bit getting into it with the referees and I'm kind of not communicating with the guys, but I'm kind of ripping into the guys. So, I don't know, someone does something stupid or, so just something out of order a little bit, and it's a trickle effect. Whereas these last few years, I've kind of realised this, like especially when you're in a bit of a position to help someone, it's a game changer how they receive it, even through the community stuff that I like to do. I don't do it because, oh, thank you so much for that. I just do it because of how joyful it makes the family feel. Like you've got the parents who are happy that their kid's over the moon, but it's not them providing it. It's essentially coming from sports, from us guys, from them coming and spending the day with the team and whatnot.
Check, mic, check, 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 mic, check. Yeah. Oh, he's got number 12 jersey on as well. What's going on, you alright? Up superstar, you good?
And it's just like, you don't really realise it until afterwards. So even most recently with the Caston and his chemo, when he just finally rang the bell, like, don't get me wrong, I'll do that for anyone. I'm that type of person that if I can make someone's day, I'll make your day, like, especially it costs nothing. But I didn't realise how much of an impact it has until till this day. Like, I probably speak to him every day, and I have done since the day Paul introduced me to them. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like, you don't realise how important you are, like, to a point where he will contact me, his mum will contact me and say this is how he feels, or he'd have a hospital appointment and feel really down, and you know, keep your head up, you're going to be okay, I look forward to seeing you on the weekend or something. And it just gives them that little bit of that support. You get what I'm saying? So I think just understanding how like infectious you are with those around you, and you like, and I've been oblivious to it a lot of the time, because obviously me, I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I've got something good to say, I've got something good to say. If I've got something bad to say, I'm definitely going to say it, sort of thing. So it's like, you don't, even with members of staff, even with people in and around the venue and everywhere you go, you kind of realise that you actually, what you say sticks to certain people and stuff. So just how important it is to like teach correctly. Do you get what I'm saying? Even coaching this year, I've learned a lot more from coaching this year than I think I've learned from playing ever. Do you get what I'm saying? Just how you communicate, what you communicate, and it's about like what message you're trying to deliver. Because a lot of times you can just sit there and say some motivational stuff and hopefully they get going, but it's not. It's always about kind of what you want back from them, sort of thing. So yeah, it's the community stuff and just making other people's days normal. It's always been normal for me. I've got a few. Well, I know that's not, I should say all of them. I'll say 3. Let's narrow it down to 3. Out of 11, I'd say 3. My first season would probably be with Worcester Wolves, with PJ. Just because once PJ finally realised, let me start this little white that he might be all right. So then once me and him kind of had, it weren't no trouble, nothing at all, but I used to be in his ear all the time, like, mate, be serious, like these are the type. Plus the teammates I had were phenomenal. Brandon Parrish, George Beeman, Trayvon Palmer, Rob Gilchrist, Dallin Paczynski, everyone who wants to score the ball. That's my dream. So then once he kind of put me in there, I went through like a 5-month period of just, everywhere I went, it was just double-digit assist, double-digit assist, double-digit assist, double-digit assist. And I enjoyed it. And it got to a point where Coach PJ let me run wouldn't even intervene much, would let me call the plays. And I feel like even now he's starting to become a bit more like that again now. And and we just had fun that year. We went being third. It was my first time being able to carry a team as a starting PG to a top 2, top 3 for majority of the league. Royals was a big one for me. Royals was probably up there for probably number 1 favourite season. A lot of it was to do with the guys around. I grew up with Ed, grew up with Jules. I grew up with a lot of them guys, and now we're all playing on one team, and we're spending, and we weren't just teammates. We were like actual brothers. Like, we were all cool. We cared about one another. We'd go to each other's baby showers. We'd go to each other's, I don't know, my niece would have an assembly in one part of London. Like 5 of the guys would come with me just to go and watch. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it was a very family orientated team. And kicking London's ass in the final at the trophy, obviously we slapped them in overtime, which was nice. And then the last one would probably be, it'll be 2. The last one's going to be a little integration of 2. The Raiders, with the Turks, when we had the real money men here in the league, when we had the Başakşehir, and the first year Patriots, them 2 together in one. Obviously I kind of squashed them both into one. I think that Raiders year, because being able to show what the city can do with the financial backing, I think was a big one. I think being able to say, all right, well, if we put money into the city, it's got the potential to be successful, which they did. They put the money in the club, and we lost in the semi-final to freaking Jules and them stupid London. And and then our Patriots year, the first year, where we kind of went from beginning of the year, we was all like, oh well, we're all gonna have to just play British until we can get visa stuff through. Got slapped, I think 10 games in a row, miserable. I think I developed a drinking habit, even though I don't drink. I think I became alcoholic, even though I don't like drinking. And then I don't know what happened. I think December, visas came through, Booman came in, Deuce came in, Roel came in a little bit after that. Troy came in a little bit after that, and then we just hit the ground running. It just was non-stop. Even from everyone in the office, I'm sure from the media side of it, it was like, oh, now I've got positive stuff to do, start and say and whatnot. And then players, it was like, right, well, we're competing. And then other teams sort of literally got scared to play us. And then obviously we had that major game at the end to whoever wins makes playoffs against Newcastle, against Fletch as well. Just funny enough, which you were there, which you commentated, and every time Fletch scored, he'd go crazy. Every time we scored, he'd be like, yeah, well done, guys. Fletch would score, he'd say, that's my guy, Fletch. No, I'm joking. I miss having you two on commentary, you know. Let's not get into it because I'll get in trouble. But it was, yeah. Big game. That was a big game as well. And I started that game. That was my first time starting that game, that whole year. I was going to leave 2 weeks before that.
Really?
Yeah, because Wes Washburn came in. Do you remember Wes Washburn? But then he done his Achilles. So once he came in, they basically, in the most politest way possible, they were like, we don't actually need you. They had money, so they said, you can stay here. You can be our adopted son if you want. And obviously I was a bit upset about all. I mean, it is what it is. It's sports at the end of the day. But obviously it was Wes and then Jules as the backup. So I was meant to be the backup of Jules. And then it was a weird game to say the least. It was meant to be it was an all British final, 2 London teams playing in Glasgow. First of all, like I don't know how that worked, but it was what it was. Out of the 24 guys who were representing both teams, 22 or 21 of them were all British passport holders, other than 3, but one of them didn't play because Bristol didn't play for London that game. The big guy, and it was crazy. It was manic. It was just insane. It was our first year in the league. It was nuts, and then went all the way into overtime. I think having the senior guys, Ash, Matt, and OJ, was very refreshing. I think they were seasoned, like they were vets, like had played all over the world, all 3 of them, and the experience was insane. So I think to be able to have them, and it was what I really loved about it was that's the kind of moment in games where everyone wants the ball. But they wasn't arrogant. They wasn't dicks about it. They kind of was, you've carried us here a little bit, so we're going to allow you to continue to do it. And I think that just kind of gave me a lot of confidence. Ash would set a great screen, and they even if I throw a bad pass, I knew that they'd work hard to go and get it. They wouldn't be where, a lot of guys, you throw them a lob, and if it's not perfect, let me leave it or whatnot. But yeah, they always supported me that year, and I think just having that performance in overtime was nice. I got a big play, a steal, I think a layup, a floater, a rebound, a huge rebound at one point, and then I think like a little throw ahead for just to seal the game off, all in the space of and it just felt like that, and it was just you're champions, and it was just it was nuts. It was amazing. It was a great few days after that as well, so it was nice. It was good to get the win, and it was my first piece of silverware as well. So it was good to get it with my brothers. Truthfully, it was good to get it with guys who I'll be able to see in 10, 15 years' time and talk about how I got them that trophy. I'm joking, but yeah. And I still got it in my living room. Yeah, hey, BBL, listen. Highest bidder can have it back. Simple as that. Or I'm giving it to Pabs.
I love it.
We'd have to go get it from John Sawyer's house, though. It's, me and him got a shared house that we leave the trophy in. We just bought it to leave the trophy in. Paul's been pressuring me into trying to get a triple-double all year. Could you imagine before the game, he's like, mate, you're only about, what did you say to me before the last game? He's like, you're only about 174 rebounds away from being number 1 rebound. I'm saying, I'm never going to get 174 in my lifetime, let alone in a game. Now, I've never really been a stat guy. But if you look carefully, especially that Worcester year, there was many games I'd finish 11 points, 9 assists, 9 assists, 9 assists, 9 assists, to a point where I just realised it's just not meant to be. I don't think I'm meant to get a double-double. And then I come, what was it, first year or second year?
Second year.
One of the years anyway. Yeah, so I come here first, that's the second year. Yeah. He's right, actually, it was the second year. So then I come here second year, I think I get double-double back-to-back or something. Was it back to back? And then I was just,
24
I was changed, man. I went into the office the next day, told PJ I need a pay rise, I need a Lamborghini, I need. Could you imagine after 2 double doubles? But no, it was nice. It's good to have that responsibility. Stats, I've never really been a big fan of stats because stats don't show you the defensive effort, they don't show you deflections, they don't show you communication, they don't show a lot of stuff that we kind of all see in games. But I'll take it though. I'll take it. I'm a double machine. I'll take the title. I don't mind. I'll become it. Trophy final. I got my first ever game in the BBL. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was, Surrey United. It was on the, I don't want to say the date because then I'll sound like a creep. I remember the date, time, everything. We played at Surrey United against Worcester Wolves, PJ's first ever, so my first ever game against PJ. Long story short, we lost by 62. It's not an underdog story. We lost by 60 something points. But it was, I only remember the positive from it. So it was Zaire Taylor had a monster game, insane game. But I played the whole game. Obviously, like I said, my first year, we kind of got beat up a little bit, but a lot of it was to do with experience. We lost the game by 62 points. When I say I'd never in my life lost it by 62, so I thought, okay, well, what a welcome. And at the end of it, I went online to read the MVP magazines because Mark Woods used to do MVP magazines back then, and I went online to read it. Zaire Taylor's got a whole section just about me. About how, literally, about how, and this is how I became good friends with him, because even when I seen him, next ever seen him, I said, look, I saw the comments on the magazine, I appreciate it, like, thank you. Especially coming from him. So you don't even know who I am. And it was just stuff like, it wasn't, had a good game, because I most definitely didn't. But a lot of it was to do with the potential, his composure, how calm, do you get what I'm saying? And that gave me, even though he got slapped, it gave me like a huge, okay, well, if that's coming from the guy who just handed my own ass to me, like, I'm sure I'll be okay, sort of thing. Do you get what I'm saying? So that for me was a good, even though we lost, it was a positive thing for me a little bit. My first ever crazy assist game was 17 assists with Bristol Flyers, against Bristol Flyers on BBC Sport. It was like my first ever time, and I just finished with 17 assists, but I didn't even realise. And then I'm sat in the locker room, and everyone's like, "Bro, you had 17 assists." I'm just like, okay. And then that literally, from that day on, it just started. Didn't stop. I just said to PJ, well, he gave me all the rights to go up to him and say, well. No, but a lot of games, I'm a weird person. Like, I remember stuff from years ago. I remember the game we played, but there's a lot of games I'd not want to remember neither. A lot of games, but it's been a good 11 years. And horrible 11 years. But, and underpaid 11 years, and don't get me started. don't get me started. I couldn't even believe it. Even when Paul texted me, I had to ask him a few times, so are you talking about overall? He's like, yes, mate, there's only 10 people and you're one of them. I'm like, so you're telling me out of all the people that have ever been in the BBL, he just had to clarify it. But it's out of everything that could possibly make me happy statistically, that might be the one stat that probably does. Because it's a stat that I don't take pride in it. I don't go out of my way to get assists, but I want to share the ball. Do you get what I'm saying? I preach sharing the ball to my Division 3 team, my university team. I preach sharing the ball to my own team, to the pros. I tell them all the time, you can go average 40 in whatever country you played last year. I won't run here. It won't work here. I've seen it myself. We've had guys who can average 40. We played, who was on our team? We had Matt Scott, who was the best bucket we've probably ever seen. Still losing games, obviously not because of him, but I'm saying as a team, because we got to play a bit more like a team sort of thing. And but I'm grateful though. I'm happy. I didn't really even realize, like, the BBL didn't even make a noise. I didn't even get tagged in anything until this guy texted me and said, oh yeah, congratulations, mate. It was you. I think it was like you lot got together and was like, oh, by the way, you're.
He didn't have a clue.
Well, it was you, exactly. See what I'm saying? Until you told him and then he told me, you were like, look, you're in top 10 of the thing. And in my head, I'm thinking, every morning I wake up thinking, you know what, the BBL is going to tag me today, and I'm finally going to press, accept, where it links it. I was like, finally they're going to put something out. But no, I don't actually care about it. But I appreciate you doing that research though.
some of the Sheffield Sharks team members. That's TJ Atwood though, hits a dagger triple.
Dusha, inbounds. Hassan took the dribble. Dusha under pressure. He made it! Oh my goodness!
Patriots!
The three is good!
Is that? Ooh, Pabs, come stand next to me.
Oh my god. Imagine, I don't know where you want to sign it, but this is a video.
That beard is fake because it is missing. I don't have a real beard. Whoever did that is a legend. Where do you want me to sign it?
Where, here, wherever.
Wherever you like, Sunny Jim. I don't want to do your beard.
Kind of Wings Wednesday with this on.
Like, wait, hold on, I'm going to be there. They're going to say, how are you walking around with that guy in your shirt?
Legend. Brilliant.
Thank you, Pabs. No, I appreciate you, mate. I appreciate you for keeping tabs on everything.
Have your moment, because Patriots.
Elvisi Dusha, half court three to close things out.
So where am I now at the moment? I don't plan to look until I can look up and be in between Fletch and Fab. That's my hope.
I did it earlier. How many are you behind?
That's my hope. That's my hope.
I think you're 900 off the top.
Is that another 10 years?
10.
You never know. If these lot keep scoring, maybe. If these lot keep scoring.